on this influx of cash flooding the short-term markets like never before. Is this a bad sign? Wall Street is watching for signs of broader financial stress as trillions of dollars changed hands every night in reverse and repo markets. Is this a bad sign here?
Well, I don't think it's a good sign. And I think you have to dissect exactly what's going on with the entities that are involved, right? So usually in the repo market, the transaction is between, let's say, a money market fund and a borrower, a hedge fund, let's say. It happens in the private sector. But when the Fed does a reverse repo or a repo, then the counterparty is the Federal Reserve. So let's just think this through. You've got almost $1 trillion a day, the last time I checked, of funds going to the Fed's balance sheet or going to the reverse repo liability portion of the Fed's balance sheet. So this means that, let's just say money market fund managers, because they're about 90 or 95% of the transactions, they're saying, okay, we've got $1 trillion. Now we can choose to have the $1 trillion be a counterparty, or excuse me, a liability of the commercial banking system. So they're our counterparty. Or we can choose to have those dollars a liability of the Federal Reserve. So this is what they're implicitly saying, is that for whatever reason, we want that $1 trillion to be a liability of the Fed and not the commercial banking system. So why would they do that? Well, some people will say because they're just overwhelmed with cash and the Fed increased the reverse repo rate to 5 basis points from 0, and this incentivizes them to go in. Maybe that's possible, but you also have to look at the fact that it very well could be that the amount of counterparty risk in the private repo transactions has increased significantly to the point where those money market funds would rather have that $1 trillion a liability of the Federal Reserve. That's kind of the dynamics that are at play, and I think that's what most people need to pay attention to.